So after watching Simon Sinek's TED Talk about knowing your why, there was a few things that I started reflecting on. So Simon Sinek talks about knowing your why before you get to your what and your how, and that most of organizations go backwards. They do the how or the what first and then get to the why if they ever even get there. So this brought me to some conclusions or some reflections about this past class and this program in itself. For starters, in this class, we had to come up with our code of ethics. And I thought this was a really valuable and important assignment because it really made us dig deep into knowing, not only what our why was, but kind of what we would do to get to our why. So for example, I always considered myself an honest person, and I would always tell the truth, but there are times I don't tell the truth. Um, if I feel like it's going to hurt someone's feelings unnecessarily, I will not tell the truth. If it's something that's not going to do any good and it's just going to ruin my relationship with them, I won't tell the truth. Now, if I need to, I will, or if, it's imperative or it really distinguishes if I'm an honest person or not, I will. But if someone buys me a gift and I don't like it, I'm not going to tell them I don't like it. So I just felt like that assignment kind of made us really dig deep into ourselves so that we could find our purpose easier and we could understand what our purpose meant to us and what we would be willing to do to get to that purpose, which is goes into my next point, that knowing what our why is and knowing what our purpose is goes hand in hand, whether it's our why for our personal life or our why for our organization or our whatever our why might be. um, Sometimes I feel like that organizations focus so much on the what and the how that a lot of people in the organization don't even know what the why is, or they forget what the why is so easily. So I'm an assistant principal, and a lot of times, we talk about essential learning outcomes, we talk about common assessments, and how are we going to assess, and what are we going to assess, and what are we going to do if the students don't understand the material, that we always kind of put the why to the backside, to the back burner. And it's not until, we're forced to bring it up that we reconsider the why or we re-examine the why. And this becomes increasingly difficult, especially when you have a staff that's so tired of doing the what or the how so often, in that they don't hear the why often enough. They get frustrated, they're getting burnt out, and I can see that even in my own staff. So our district is notorious for kind of putting a lot of stuff out on the table, and our teachers at our specific site are getting frustrated. They want to know the why. So why do we have to use this specific tool to get students to upload college resumes or whatnot? And sometimes it becomes hard for me to explain what the why is, because I'm just kind of programmed sometimes to regurgitate information and get teachers to commit to whatever it is that the district is selling at that time. The district has a really good way of bringing everything back full circle and showing how everything ties into everything, but I think a lot of times we forget to take a step back and tell the teachers why. Let them grapple with the why. Let them figure out their own why and how that correlates with the district's why. And I think we just forget that. I think the humdrum of everyday life makes us forget that. And one time that I can remember how powerful the why was is through my TCP. I was able to portray what the why was of an intervention system, and I was able to get teachers to commit to it because we talked about that why so many times, and they started really understanding what the why was. And because of that, they were able to put together a system that worked for our school and a system that they believed in. So this just goes back to understanding why the why is so important. And it just came full circle for me with this class and this program and this webinar and this TED Talk. So those are my reflections, and thank you for listening. Have a great day.